Hello, good morning from the iconic Poultney Weir and Poultney Bridge in my hometown of the beautiful city of Bath. This morning I'm continuing my Athelstan Pilgrim Way pilgrimage. I'm going to one church which I've been to before. I was unable to gain access. I've arranged for it to be open today, hopefully, touch wood, where I'll be able to show you around and obtain the stamp. I'm heading about 18 miles out of Bath. I'm going to go literally in a straight line, 18 miles up the Fossway before I turn right. I'll speak to you closer to our destination. We're now about 11 miles north of Bath and we're just crossing over the Broadmead Brook here on the Fossway. So just a quick refresh, the Fossway is the old Roman road that ran from Exeter, many miles behind me, up to Lincoln, many miles north of me. So a quick refresh about the Athelstan Pilgrim Way for those who may not have followed the previous videos. It's a 100-mile circuit based around 6 benefices in North Wiltshire. And I've been doing it in stages from Bath. Can you see the Fossway runs right alongside the edge of it? So that's what I'm doing today. When I rode part 5, I tried to ride the Malmesbury and Upper Avon benefice in one go, that one there. And I visited all the churches, but I could not get into Rood at Rodbourne. And I phoned up the office at Malmesbury yesterday, and by all accounts they're going to open the church for me today between 10 and 4. Whether there's going to be someone there or not, I don't know. She said to me, if you ride in the Athelstan Pilgrim Way, you'll find the stamp in a box in a porch. And I did say last time I was there, even the porch wasn't open. She said, oh really? So hopefully the church is going to be open today. So the Athelstan Pilgrim Way is based on these 6 benefices in North Wiltshire. Each benefice is shaded different shade of green. And it's to commemorate the 1100th anniversary, this September in fact, of the coronation of the first King of England, first King of the United England anyway, the Anglo-Saxon King Athelstan. So the project was first started last June when the Malmesbury and Upper Avon benefice, the one we're visiting today, that one, and the Goresbrook benefice were inaugurated with the booklets and stamps. Then this Easter, the Woodbridge and the Draycott benefices were established with booklets, guides and stamps. As I understand it, on September the 5th, these 2 upper benefices, the Braden Brook and the Upper Thames benefice, are going to be inaugurated, hopefully with booklets and stamps. So that's when I'm going to visit those, sometime after September the 5th. The actual anniversary, the 1100th anniversary of the coronation, is actually on September the 4th. So that's the plan for today. We're going to carry on up the Fossway, a couple of little bits of off-road, and then we're going to turn off and head down to Rodbourne. So again, for those who have been following this pilgrimage, they supply a pilgrim passport, and each church has got its own inked stamp, and you visit each church. That's the one we're visiting today, Rood at Rodbourne. I have been there before, but I couldn't gain access, and that will complete 4 of the benefices. And as I said, the 2 last ones are going to be inaugurated in September, and there'll be 11 churches there. I'm probably going to make that a 2-day camping trip. So that's what we're heading for today. Stamp duty at Rood, Rodbourne, touch wood. A couple of miles further on, we turned left at Norton, and this is the road that would take us up to Foxley, and then you're literally on the outskirts of Malmesbury. But we are going down here, down this no-through road, because this will actually turn into what I believe may have been an old coaching road, going by what somebody told me, and it would take us right towards Corston. Just before we get into Corston, I'm going to turn right down a track, and it'll go past the nature reserve I went past last time. That would bring us out into the small village of Corston, or it's a very busy road passing through. We can probably pavement that just for a couple of 100 yards before we turn left, and then it's about a mile or so to today's destination, Rodbourne Church. But I'm really looking forward to this next section down here. Well, I've been back from my Thankful Villages cycle tour about a week and a half now, and when I came back I trawled through all the footage, and after about 2 days I started editing it into films. Now I always knew it was going to be more than one. I tried to keep each one short, but even then they were about 40 minutes each, and there was 7 in total. There was tons I left out. I'll just tell you a couple of things that got left out. So I said on day one I'd be getting the train back from Great Yarmouth to Bath, and I was nervous about that, and I would explain why. Well, I tried to, but as I said, the wind noise at the end was so bad on that last day. So in the past, when I've travelled through London, I've always got the train up to Paddington and then just ridden across London, say to King's Cross or Liverpool Street, wherever I'm heading. But this time I got a bargain rail ticket which was straight through, and it transferred me on the Elizabeth line, and I didn't know whether that was underground, overground, a combination of both. I just didn't know, so I was kind of nervous about that. As it turned out, when I got off the Great Anglian trains at Stratford, it was an overground line to start with, and then it eventually became underground, I think. I went past all these iconic stops like Bond Street, and then I arrived at Paddington, and it was a bit of a hassle getting back up to ground level. There were 2 lifts and it was really confusing, and then I was straight on my train down from London Paddington to Bath. I went with 3 train companies, 2 journeys with Great Anglia, and I have to say their cycle facilities were fantastic. A local train from Great Yarmouth to Norwich, and then an express from Norwich down to London, but I got off at Stratford. The bike space there is fantastic. They've integrated it into fold-up seats, so the seats can come down if they're not being used, but they swing back up vertically. And there's bike storage space there, so you leave them upright in perfect view all the time. You're never far from it. And they've got these elasticated straps which come out like canvas belts with a plastic coated hook on the end, so if a few of them start stacking up, you can just hold them together. Absolutely fantastic. Greater Anglia trains, that's the best cycle facility I've ever witnessed over all the years I've been travelling with my bike on trains. I was concerned about, as I said, whether it was underground, overground. I just didn't know what the Elizabeth line was. It felt like a tube train. You literally just walked on. I think cycle access is allowed out of rush hours, as I understand it, but there was plenty of room, and it was only about a 15-minute trip. I just stood with my bike, didn't hinder anyone, there's plenty of room. But on those as well, there's lots of space put aside for pushchairs, wheelchairs, bicycles, or heavy luggage if people are going to the airport. So if it was a bit busier, I could have stacked my bike there. Fantastic. As I said, the only issue was working out how to get the lifts up from the underground at Paddington up to the overground. Great Western Trains is the classic cupboard where I had my bike stolen last year, but with Great Western Trains the hooks aren't open enough. So you put your bike in upright vertically and you hook the front wheel through these metal hooks, but the hooks are just not open enough for most bike wheels. If you've got a racing bike with narrow rims, great, it'll fit in. My Thorn Audax bike's going fine, but this big bike with the 28-inch wheels and the 2-inch tyres just wouldn't fit in. And plus the fact I knew my handlebars were wide, I was getting ready to turn them if I had to, but as it turned out, I took a bungee cord and I just bungeed it in. It was fine. The train journey from Great Yarmouth to Bath wasn't too bad at all. Cycle facilities, as I said, on Greater Anglia and on the Elizabeth line, fantastic. Great Western Trains, on the negative, it's difficult to get anything but a racing bike wheel in, but on the positive, there's seats where you can observe them all the time. I was adamant I was not going to let my bike out my view. You can actually get a seat and actually look over your back each time. Every time the train stopped, I made sure I kept my bike in view. When I had it stolen last year on cross-country trains, it was the opposite. The hooks were okay to get bigger wheels in. Bit of a struggle, but you could just about get them in. But there was no CCTV. recording it, and also there were no seats anywhere nearby. The cupboards are good in some ways but bad in other ways. So the journey went absolutely smoothly, and as I said, I think I grabbed a bargain. Anyway, I'm going to press on now because I'm really looking forward to this next stretch. Can you see we're passing a few isolated houses just up the top of this rise. So this road does serve these houses, and then it's going to go into a farm along here, and then it would just suddenly turn into gravel, and that section is absolutely wonderful. Wanted to come back along here ever since I rode this first about 6 weeks ago. Along here you may see it's going to go into a farm, and then beyond that is gravel, and we're back off road again. It's quite bumpy this section, as you imagine. Lots of heavy farm vehicles, and here we go, voila. It's fairly compact gravel, a bit potholey as you can imagine, but at the end of the day it's a farm road, so farm vehicles use this. And we go through some woods shortly. So there is a left hand turn here, it's just a bend on this track, and we really now are off road, and this is the bit I've been really looking forward to through these woods. This section's wonderful. You come through these woods. It was only about 5 or 6 weeks ago I came along here on part 5 of the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. It was the day I tried to ride from Bath, my hometown, in a single day, an entire benefice, the Malmesbury and Upper Avon benefice, which I did. But I got to Rodbourne Church unable to gain access, which is why I said I would come back today, and I've been looking forward to coming along this stretch ever since. And in the guidebook for this benefice, they even suggest this seat is a good place to just stop and stare and look out to what people from the time of Athelstan's reign could well have seen. The capital of his kingdom was Malmesbury, which is literally just behind those trees a few miles. And this just feels like an ancient trackway through here, so it's a good place to travel back in time. And I did say that day I went into Malmesbury Abbey, got my stamp, I would come back with Linda on a day out, and I did last Friday. We went up to Malmesbury on the train and the bus. It's a wonderful day out. We got the local train from our nearby railway station, Oldfield Park, 2 minutes up to Bath Spa, changed there, got on the London Express, run that about 8 or 9 minutes, got off at the first stop at Chippenham. Right outside Chippenham station is the 99 bus, and that took us up to Malmesbury. And it dropped us right in the centre, right outside the Athelstan Museum. So I made 2 priorities that day. I wanted to have a good look round Malmesbury Abbey, which I did. And then I met Linda for lunch. We had bacon rolls and coffee in Malmesbury Abbey. In the afternoon I had a look round the Athelstan Museum. But all around town there's an Athelstan trail with all these points of interest. There was at least 20, because I saw number 18, 19 and 20 at one point. I did start filming that, but I was having such a good day out with my wife, I just said, no, just put the camera away, this is our day. Meantime, I'm just loving this. We're going to go along here a couple more miles, pop through Corston, and then we really will be at our destination, Rodbourne Church, hopefully for lunch. What a lovely spot. See how nice this is along here? Oh, on a hot day, the drop in temperature is so welcome. I was blown away by this the first time I came along. It's equally as good today, even though I knew what to expect. And you may see the maps I quite often show you with the 6 benefices on for the Athelstan Pilgrim Way are walking based. It looks complex at first, and then you suddenly realise it's designed for people to do shorter walks, or you could walk it all in one go. But there's also going to be a cycle route 100-mile long, and I believe that's being launched very soon as well, starting and finishing in Malmesbury. But a bit like the King Alfred's Way, I suppose, being a circuit, you'll probably be able to join it wherever you want. Or I wonder if they'll include this on it. I hope so. Back on tarmac. Gonna go along here half a mile or so, I believe, then turn right down another track past the nature reserve into the back of Corston. There's a right hand turn along here. I think this might be it. This would take us down into the village centre. Looks like someone's drive, but it actually joins 2 minor roads, and we'll go past a nature reserve. So along here, I think, is it here? Yep. This is an old quarry, which is now a nature reserve. Again, really wanted to come back here and have a look. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The Corston Quarry and Pond, local nature reserve. There's a big walk around it. That's going to be for another day. Today I really want to get to the church. Beautiful, isn't it? Only through exploring the Athelstan Pilgrim Way I came along here. And again, I hope this is going to be on the cycle route, because if it's not, people will be missing so much. National Lottery funded, Wessex watermark, Corston Quarry and Pond. I am going to take one of those. I meant to last time and I forgot. Then you emerge down in between these 2 wooden fences, what looks like a drive up in someone's private property, just on this very, very minor road, which is about to intersect with a very, very busy road. And a few hundred yards later, next is bridge at the end of Mill Lane, we intersect with a busy A429. This is the Chippenham up to Malmesbury and Cirencester Road. It can become very busy sometimes, especially with HGV traffic, but we're literally going to hop on that pavement over there, just ride down, probably about twice as far as that pedestrian crossing, then turn off left by the church. But this waterway here, this is the Goulsbrook. So it's one of the names of the benefices. Although we're not in the Goulsbrook benefice at the moment, we're crossing the Goulsbrook. We're actually in the Malmesbury and Upper Avon benefice. When I spoke to the lady, very helpful, in the Malmesbury office of the church, she said to me, "What time do you think you'll be there?" And I sort of said about midday, but I'm going to be cycling, so I'm not 100% sure, but I feel I want to be there for midday. And I've just checked my phone, and it's about 1:45, so that's not a bad guess, is it? She did say it would be open between 10 and 4, but who knows, they may be expecting me at midday. I feel like, at politeness, I ought to be there for midday. And right opposite the Radnor Arms, on one of these twisty bends on this busy A429 road, next left-hand turning, Rodbourne. It's down by where that lorry's about to pass off to the left. So less than a mile from that busy road at Corston, just coming up to the boundary sign there, just on this slight rise as the road bends round to the left. There's the boundary sign for Rodbourne, and that marker point, one of the big water towers. There's a few around here actually, so that's a good landmark to head for. You can see the Garmin's about to do a sharp left as we turn into the village, and then the church is, well, it's coming up very, very soon. And here we are, just to pass the summit of that little lump. You can see the church on the left hand side. Just in this tree canopy in the village. Be easy to shoot by and miss it. Here's the church, look. Church of the Holy Rood, Rodbourne. From here the church doesn't look open. The wooden door on the outside of the porch is closed. Let's hope it's not locked. I did give them my name yesterday and said feel free to take my number, because I was calling on my mobile, so she locked it just in case they wanted to get back to me. But I've just checked my phone, there's no messages or missed calls. Let's go and see. Can we get in to the porch at least? There's a big mortise lock there. There's this handle here. Ah, it's open. Oh gosh, you're right into an open plan church. Gosh, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, there's the stamp. Oh, I'm not sure if I've seen a church quite like that before. One of the features is this tympanum, I think that's how you pronounce it. The big arch sculpting above the porch. Gosh, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting to come into a closed porch. Probably going to need some lights in here because it's so dark. The nave is Norman. Look at that lovely 2D carving there on the wall. A little bit of depth. Oh, I think this is going to warrant finding some lights and putting the lights on. Ah, here we are. That lights the porch. I think don't want to have too many on. I'm very aware that churches have to pay expensive electricity bills as well. Right, I've put on what I think is the minimum. So there's this amazing open porch. That side entrance. The first thing you notice is the font, octagonal font, these amazing stonework, carvings. I'll read up a little bit about the tympanum because it tells you about that. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the carving above the arch of a porch normally. So you straighten the nave. And look, as we walk forward, the Rood screen. Wiltshire 40th Ride and Stride, 14th of September from last year. It's got that lovely cool feel on a sunny day of a country parish church. Quite a low pulpit. And up the step into the chancel. Oh, choir seats only one side. Imagine that's the clergy's entrance behind there. No reredos carvings behind the altar, but there is a piscina by the look of it. Wow, look at the depth and the angle of that window. It just shows you how thick these walls are. 1471 inscribed into that chair. Oh, this is lovely. And here's my stamp, Holy Rood, Rodbourne, and it's green. There we are. As I always say, seal the ink pad and the stamp up as quickly as possible so it doesn't dry for other people. That's all the stamps now for 4 of the benefices. That completes this benefice, the Malmesbury and Upper Avon benefice. There's the Goulsbrook, Draycott, Woodbridge. That's all complete now. And I've got a GPS route to visit all of those churches over 2 days. A couple of campsites I've got my eyes on. But I don't think the stamps will be there yet because the guidebooks aren't available yet. As I understand it, they'll all be available from about September the 5th onwards, when the third and final stage of this Pilgrim Way is fully launched. and that will include the 100-mile cycle ride as well. Cycle route's going to be published. So I've got 11 churches left to go. So I feel I now can take a couple of months off because I've got other projects I want to revisit. So that's all the stamps there from the 4 benefices. And then there's 11 to go in the final benefice. And that's what I want to have a look at. When you go onto the website, you can buy this. It's a guide for the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. And it's by a local writer. I wonder if that's been bookmarked for this location. But I've been thinking about buying that. And I was hoping to see a copy up in Malmesbury Abbey last week when I went there with Linda, but they didn't have any left. I think they'd sold out. So I want to have a look at that now. And I think that's something I will buy actually. You can buy it via email and she'll send it to you. So you're buying straight from the author, I think, which is quite nice. Really chuffed to have got my stamp. And I've mentioned there's also a children's project. It's based around Athelstan. It's located in Stan the dog. And I spotted Stan the dog in Malmesbury Abbey last week, even though I wasn't looking for him. So let's go and see if we can find him here. Finding the dog is almost as fulfilling as collecting the stamps. You have to look. It's not that difficult, but they do tend to put them in unusual places. Let's see if we can find Stan the dog. I haven't yet found Stan the dog. Oh, there he is. Stan the dog. Hello, buddy. I'm enjoying that almost as much as the stamps, actually. This is what you'll normally find when you come to the churches. You'll find a copy of the Pilgrim Passport there. You'll find the relevant guidebook, walking book for this benefice. So this is benefice number 1, Malmesbury and Upper Avon. And then you'll also find Stan's pilgrimage to Malmesbury and Upper Avon. That's the children's version of this. And there you'll find the stamp and the ink pad in there, clearly marked. Then here, sometimes there'll just be things of local interest. I just about managed to have my lunch in the shade under that tree, and you can see now only the back of the seat is in shade, is warming up already. I've just filled my water bottle up thanks to access to the little kitchenette area and sink. There's a couple of things in here I've just spotted I wanted to share with you. If I shut that door, keep the birds out. In the kitchen area, that really caught my eye. If this is lovely during the summer and the spring, imagine what that must be like in the winter with snow or the warming lights. How that really evokes that winter feeling of a warm place and sanctuary. That really captures it for me. Especially as it's nice and cool in here. I love that. And also, I nearly missed it. There's a roll of honour. It says, below are the names of the men from the parish of Corstone with Rodbourne, who between August and September the 30th, 1914, answered their country's call in the hour of greatest need, in defence of the realm against Germany and Austria-Hungary. And there they all are down there. So early volunteers. They weren't Kitchener's army, and they weren't already enlisted. They were the early volunteers. A church porch. Gosh, look at all these wonderful stone carvings. It's so lovely, this church. It really is. I'm so grateful to the lady from the Malmesbury office who arranged for it to be open for me today. So I called yesterday. I just Googled Holy Rood, Rodbourne, and the church page comes up, and then it just says for inquiries ring the Malmesbury office, and it gives you the number. She was ever so helpful, and she arranged for it to be open between 10 and 4. I turned up here today and I've been able to gain access. Thank you so much to that lady who organised that for me. And I've just left a £5 donation. You can just hear the crows in the trees and a jet plane going up overhead. Look at that wonderful church. Sad to leave, but I'll be back again. Church of the Holy Rood. Lovely location, such a small little village. So I came in that way from Corston. It's this lovely bit of tree canopy here, right opposite Manor House. I'm going to continue that way towards Malmesbury, then I'll be turning left, heading parallel to the M4 motorway. Hopefully there's not too much glare here. If I make that full screen, you can see there's start and finish, the green arrow, Bath. I'm still on the high from my Thankful Villagers cycle tour. It was just so good. I've just been on a high ever since. It's coming up for 2 weeks ago now, and I'm still just buzzing off that. As I said, we had a really nice day out in Malmesbury last week. It's given us an idea to go back there one day in September, maybe when the schools go back, and spend a day walking. Now I've completed the 4 benefices of the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. Got my mission stamp here, hence the name of the thumbnail, Stamp Duty. I want to then restart my Gloucestershire Churches Conservation Trust project. It was going to be a winter project. I've covered most of them. It's probably going to be a couple of day rides coming up, possibly an overnight camp as well. So that's probably what the next videos are going to be. From Holyrood Church in the lovely settlement of Rodbourne near Malmesbury. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Take care.